Meanwhile, Kenyans showed up in their thousands on day 2 of the public viewing of the body of the late President Kibaki. The long lines began building up as early as 7 a.m., just as the gun carriage carrying the body of the fallen Commander-in-Chief of Defense Forces arrived at Parliament from the Lee Funeral Home. Leila has been following the events of the day since the break of dawn and has filed the following report for us.
The gun carriage undertaking the duty of carrying the body of the late Commander-in-Chief was ready to leave the Lee Funeral Home just after 6:15 early Tuesday morning. The driver of the carriage, a senior sergeant of the Kenya Army, standing by to leave, waiting on instructions from Brigadier Jeff Nyaga, seated beside him. At the back, 6 servicemen from the military police unit of the Kenya Army sit quietly as part of the escort team, accompanying the body as it leaves for Parliament buildings for day 2 of viewing. The funeral procession moved slowly down Valley Road into Kenyatta Avenue and through Uhuru Highway before being deposited at the entrance to the Senate. Accompanying the motorcade is a bus carrying a team of colonels from the 3 units of the Kenya Defense Forces. Their main duty here is to carry the coffin into the Speaker's Walk and stand on guard, with 4 officers changing shifts after every hour at the table where the former president lies in state. Leading the pack was a military police truck carrying a team of Special Army Rangers, whose presence was also visible at the Lee Funeral Home early morning. The officers undertaking the duty of transporting the body sat at the very gun carriage used 2 years ago to carry the body of the late President Daniel Moi. Gun carriages are a significant part of military engagements, including carrying arms mounted at the back to make it easy for soldiers to engage the enemy at the battlefront. As the procession moved towards its destination, it was led by 3 outriders, arriving at the gates of Parliament a few minutes to 6:40 a.m., where it stood for the body to be offloaded and walked into the house where Kibaki worked and conducted parliamentary business for about 4 decades. As the national anthem played, GSU and Kenya Army servicemen armed to defend the area where the body lay manned the gate to ensure only those given clearance to get through the gates did so. Kenyans had already begun lining up to get their chance to view the body of the late president early morning, with Tuesday's numbers growing throughout the day. Security checks were intense at the designated entryways. Once on the other side, those wearing hats were ordered to remove them, while officers here gave strict instructions on all walking into the house to keep their phones away. All day, Kenyans filed a single line along the path outside Senate's entrance, walking briskly as they got closer to seeing the body of the late president. This old lady had to be escorted by a police officer into the Speaker's Walk, as she looked frail and unable to manage the journey to the late president alone. For this young man, it wasn't quite easy to establish whether it was grief, intoxication, or just the sheer desire to make a scene. Police officers had a tough few minutes trying to calm him down and get him to wear his jumper, insisting that he would only be allowed to enter the house while fully dressed. The situation wasn't different at the photo gallery inside the National Assembly, where this young man was also carried out while shouting about the harsh economic times that Kenya is facing at the moment. Leila Mohammed, NTV.